Listen to this wonderful word. What a word from King David, which says, "Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now I keep your word. It is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I may learn your statutes." In other words, affliction corrects. Affliction teaches. Naturally, when the afflicted is wise enough to learn from it instead of just murmuring or complaining about it. The Lord Jesus assured us that we would have afflictions. It is an assurance. So there's no point of you running away from the afflictions. They will come, even if you run away from them. What you must learn to do is to understand what is its benefit. What do they bring with them? Every problem is bad, but it is also good because the problem brings with it some virtue, some teaching, some new opportunity. Most inventions were created from products that has an immense and valuable use for the human being. They were created to solve problems. In other words, if it wasn't for the problem, there wouldn't be an invention, the product. The same is with medicine, which exists because someone sought a cure for a disease. First there was the disease, then the medicine. So affliction brings with it a teaching, lessons, corrections. As he said here, "Before I was afflicted, I went astray." The person often lives in error. They don't fix themselves. Then affliction comes that they learn the result of that. It is a natural law of life. Life has natural laws, like the law of sowing and reaping. If you sow, you will reap. There are natural laws that determine how things will work. It's just that people are not wise enough, attentive enough to learn that that does not work. For example, a natural law is if a woman gets together with a man sexually, the chances of they getting pregnant are great. Both being fertile, the probability is that she will get pregnant and a child will come out from this relationship. This is a natural law. Don't come with that story. God gave us that child. No, God didn't give the child. God made men and women fertile. And the natural law determined that that child would be born. And the same natural law shows that when a child is born outside a structured home, a father and a mother who are committed to each other, living well, especially in the standards of the marriage. So if the child is born outside of this context, the chances for them to grow to become a problematic adult, filled with traumas and questions and complexes, is great. The chances are great. So it doesn't work. It doesn't work for you to live having sex out there deliberately and having child here and there. They stay with one person and after they don't want anymore and they stay with something else. This doesn't work. This is a natural law. This has nothing to do with religion. Pay attention. And I even need to go into the religious, moral aspect of good habits. I don't need to go down that line to observe that this behavior doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't bring good results, neither to the child, nor to the father, nor to the mother, nor to society. Many who are in a prison facility, they were not brought up with a father. They didn't have a father figure. There's a higher rate of those who get involved with crime, who came from broken families, than those who didn't, who had a family to guide, a present father, a present mother, and etc. This is a fact you can observe. It is not in Brazil only, but in any culture. It is a natural law. Intelligence shows us that. But do the human beings learn with those afflictions? So this is not applied. Just as David said, "Before I was afflicted, I went astray." Many keep on going astray even after being afflicted. They remain going astray. They are suffering, but they insist on the mistake. The old story, banging my head against a brick wall. They keep on banging it. It hurts, but they think some way, somehow, they will win against that brick wall. And they won't. They only will hurt their head. So the person doesn't learn with their afflictions. But the wise one takes the opportunity of their afflictions to learn. The wise one gets the problem and say, "This taught me and I won't make the same mistake." This is wisdom. That's why he said, "Before I was afflicted, I went astray. But now I keep your word." In other words, many don't keep the word until they are afflicted. It will be better for them to keep the word before the affliction. It will be good for them to learn the word and practice it, and they wouldn't make a mistake. But often, the person must be afflicted and then learn the words. This is the story of humanity. That's why he concludes, "It is good for me that I have been afflicted." In other words, how can it be good to be afflicted? How can it be positive to suffer an affliction? Am I right? You may ask, how can it be? An affliction is an affliction. I will suffer. But was it good for the wise one? The wise learned. He said, "It is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I may learn your statutes." So he learned. So if he learned, it was good. If the affliction was a teacher, then it was good. There was a gain, there was a benefit, a profit that will resonate for the rest of their lives. The affliction came once, but the lesson remains for life. Again, for the wise, because the fools, they keep on insisting. They remain on the same mistake, on the same class. They don't learn. They listen to the explanation, but they don't learn. They are too worried with other things instead of listening to the lessons that life, the teacher called life, is teaching them. Dear friends, who knows, the affliction you are facing now is because you were going astray. You were walking in the mistake. Now you're going through an affliction. You cannot change that, but at least learn. Otherwise, you will remain on the same topic in class. A new year will come and you will have to relearn the same class. You don't move on. Why? Because you are resistant, stubborn, you are stiff-necked. You only want things to be different. You only complain. Why has that happened to me? Instead of you using this energy with complaining, murmuring, and empty desires that will never be fulfilled unless you do something about it. Instead of you spending your energy with that, spend your energy to learn. Learn. If you learn what the affliction is teaching you, then you will grow. You wouldn't be in vain. And you will not be in need of being repeated in your life. So be humble. Stop and ask yourself, what is this affliction teaching me? Why have I entered this affliction? Where did I go wrong that I may not make the same mistake in the future and have to relive this affliction? If if you have to say a prayer to God and say, "My God, forgive me. I know I did wrong, and that's why I'm suffering with this affliction. I stumbled. I didn't keep your word. That's why this affliction came to me. Now teach me. Help me to learn, that I may not make the same mistake. Help me to keep your word, that I may not make the same mistake." Say a sincere prayer like this, and you will realize that you also will be able to say, "It is good for me that I have been afflicted." If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.